So the first step to getting your own Christmas tree out here in the National Forest is to either go online or stop by the ranger station to get a tree cutting permit. The problem is their website's been down all weekend. And on their website it said that their ranger station, Detroit Lake, was open on Saturdays. So we came all the way there and it's closed. And there was probably, there was a handful of other people in the same situation. They just want to go get a tree with their family on Thanksgiving weekend, but because of the stupid bureaucracy and requirements of the Forest Service, you can't get a permit. But luckily enough, my wife got one in advance. We were hoping to get another so we could get my dad a tree, but we only have the one today. So where we are is I'm about 200 yards off the highway, so it's kind of loud. But what you need to look for is places where sunlight can reach, because if you go into the forest where it's really thick, all the trees are going to be competing for sunlight, so they're going to grow up rather than out. So you're going to get trees that are really skinny with barely any branches. And I'll find you guys some examples of those, but to start off, there's lots of sunlight, there's a little bit of a clearing. We get some of these trees that, these ones are too small of course, but you can see that some of these trees actually have started to grow outward and have an actual Christmas tree shape. They're not going to be as good as the ones that you'll get at a tree farm, because the ones at the tree farm, they're going to trim with like these big katana type swords to give them that, you know, the perfect cone shape. In the forest, of course, they're not going to grow like that. They're not going to be perfect, but you know, it's part of the tradition to find a tree that's a little bit more imperfect, and that's part of the fun. And obviously there's plenty of good options out here. You want to make sure to get your permits though, because these guys, these Forest Service cops, will harass you. A couple years ago I bought a tree up with my in-laws in Portland, and I bought it at a private farm. I had it in the back of my truck and I was driving back to Bend, and I get pulled over, not because I was doing anything wrong, but because they wanted to check to make sure I had a permit. And I told them I don't have a permit because I didn't get this from the forest. But they put the burden of proof upon me to prove my innocence. There was no assumption of innocence in this scenario. They wanted me to prove that I didn't take it from the forest, which, looking back, technically I didn't have to. Burden of proof is on them to show that I did. But I had a receipt in the trunk, so I showed them, or in the back seat, so I showed them, got out of it. But just want to be careful because they're happy to write tickets out here. It's actually very nice out here. Years past, I've dug post holes as I walk through this area trying to find a tree, but this year it's mostly just grass, so it's made getting over here a lot easier. It's just beautiful, beautiful forest. We got all kinds of different trees. I think this is like a white pine or something, or lodgepole. That's not what we're looking for. We want these nobles or Frasers or whatever. That's not the right kind of tree either. We got the cedars out here. So right now I'm in the shadow of this giant Douglas fir, and I'm going to show you what all these little trees look like and why they're not perfect for Christmas tree if they're competing with other mature trees. See, a lot of them grow like this. They grow really tall and skinny. Now the stump, the stem, the trunk of the tree is going to be so skinny you'll never get it in a tree stand, because it's growing upward faster than it's growing outward, because it's trying to compete with a little bit of space in the canopy up there. And that goes for pretty much all these trees right here. None of them would make a good Christmas tree. You see how sparse they are. So the goal is to find a right clearing that matches all the rules and regulations for the National Forest. So a lot of exploration before we find a good tree. So we ended up in a little bit of a rush. So my wife opted for a small tree. It's only like 5 feet tall. Let me show you. I brought everything to rig it up and put it on the roof, but it's actually in the passenger seat, if you can see through the glare. And it's got really stiff branches. She thinks we can fit the ornaments on it. Let's see how we fit in here. It's my passenger, little boy in the back seat, and there's our Christmas tree. Okay, here we are back in Bend already. I was trying to film up there, but my stupid GoPro in that cold weather just kept shutting off, saying battery low, even though it was completely full. But take a look, this is what we got. I fit the damn thing in the car. The wife saw it. It's like 6 feet, maybe even a little bit less. So I said, what the heck? Why not we just put it in the passenger seat? And it fits completely perfect. There she blows. So she's about 6 feet tall. Got some rot on the bottom we're gonna have to cut off, but the wife said she liked it, so we rolled with it. In the past, we used to be able to find trees in the Willamette Valley on smaller farms for $20 to $40, but nowadays it seems like the going rate is about 60 to 200 bucks, depending on what size you're looking for. We only want like 6 to 7 feet. That would easily be $100. Nowadays, a lot of these farms have urban growth boundary has expanded, so a lot of these farms are being bought up and turned into neighborhoods by developers. So it's changed a lot. It's definitely worth it to go out, find your own tree. It's a lot of fun. It's a good tradition. I feel really bad for a lot of those people that were out there today trying to get a tree, which is like their family tradition. They always do the weekend after Thanksgiving, and they were getting turned down because they couldn't get a permit, which is just asinine in my opinion. And I think that some of these systems that are set up are just terrible. You know, people want to comply with the rules, but they have no way to do it. Some of you might think that it's not exactly as pretty as what you'd put in your house, but for us, it's actually a lot more special having found it out in the woods. And actually, you know, we ended up saving a lot of money doing it this way. What are you saying, Joey? Do you like the tree?
Nah.
Yeah? Can you give thumbs up? Ah, that's your pointer finger. Good try.